Emilio Ocampo Quezon was born in 1904. He was a dentist. Felicissima Gagliotina was born in 1919. She was a school teacher. They met and married in 1939 and raised 8 children. I was the 7th of 8 children. My mother was the disciplinarian, but it was my father who made sure we received the sacraments, went to Sunday Mass, and prayed the rosary. It was a trying time in the Philippines in the 70s, and a change was coming. It was a leap of faith. My family felt it was best to seek a better future in America. Joanne Catherine Rogers was born in 1934 and married Lester Herman Crone Jr., who was born in 1931. Lester was the youngest to receive his doctorate in chemical engineering from Washington University. Joanne was a domestic engineer. As a young girl, Kathy admits that church was just a reason to get dressed up. Most Saturday nights were spent at Nana's house. The next day, the family just walked up the hill to Sunday school and church service. The Crones raised 3 children in St. Louis, Missouri. Kathy was the middle child. Kathy was baptized at St. Stephen United Church of Christ. She later grew up in the now famous suburb of Ferguson, Missouri. Growing up Catholic, God was a don't-do monitor. No doubt a reflection of my mother's strict discipline. It wasn't so much that I behaved to show my love to God, but more to avoid my mother's wrath. God lived in this big house where I had to be quiet, even though I didn't understand any Latin. When we first arrived in Kansas City, we went to St. John's Catholic Church on Independence Avenue, now the Don Bosco Center. I was signed up to be a lector. The Quezons later belonged to St. Elizabeth Parish. My life was getting busy, and church was now less important. Kathy continued to attend St. Stephen's United Church of Christ, where she got confirmed. In the late 70s, at the UMKC School of Dentistry, I met the love of my life, Kathy Crone. She was a dental hygiene student at the time, and I had just graduated from dental school. Kathy and I were engaged in 1980. When I lived midtown, she would attend Mass with me at Visitation Catholic Church, partly because she was searching, but mostly to see what marrying a Catholic would be like. I would have to say, she persevered through our marriage prep classes from St. Elizabeth Parish. We had double celebrants for our ceremony, Pastor Robert Herman and Father Paul Ziffel. Though we got married at her church in 1981, Kathy raised our children to be Catholic. Our life together began in the Northland. We were busy with our careers and raising children, the American dream. Our children were 5 and 6 years apart. Rather convenient that the older one was able to help and always being a good big brother. It's not a big deal. Let it wash all the bugs off my windshield. We were sacramental churchgoers then. Going to church was an obligation, never really getting in the way of our busy lives. We decided early on to send our kids to parochial school, so the search for a Catholic school began. We eventually found St. Charles Borromeo Parish. They were willing to accept our son, and so our relationship began with St. Charles in 1988. We always sat in the back of church, and at times subscribed to the last in, first out theory. We busied ourselves with our children's activities. There was always a sporting event to attend. Many times, Kathy and I would split up to be able to go to both boys' activities. The youngest, of course, always tried to mimic the older boys. He was quick to find his own niche. Life was grand, but something was missing. It was a fateful day in 1995 when things all changed. My cousin and her family came for a visit from the Philippines. They were on a 2-month-long vacation. They were highly successful. After all, who could be gone that long? The first thing they asked was, "Where's the nearest church?" They went to Mass every day no matter what. How could this be? Weekends for me were sometimes a struggle, yet they went every day. It was to give thanks, they said. I had to change my priorities. It so happened St. Charles was having a come-and-see event shortly after their visit. I received a personal invitation. I hesitated for a moment. They've called before. But this time, I said yes. It was the yes that changed my life forever. It was at that meeting where I met Jesse Hernandez and Teresa Dodd. They invited me to join their small Christian community. We met twice a month at someone's home and reflected on the readings for the coming Sunday. Jesse was a remarkable man, a World War II veteran who shared that there were no atheists to be found in foxholes. He was spirit-filled and a tireless worker for the Lord. He inspired me to have the courage to say yes to the Lord. It was Jesse who initiated me to the Catholic Charismatic movement. He led us through a Life in the Spirit seminar and opened our eyes to the gifts of the Spirit. Father Jack McClure became our pastor at St. Charles and quickly impacted my spiritual journey. He saw potential in me I didn't know existed. He introduced me to the Liturgy of the Hours. We prayed morning prayer together once a week. He also asked me to consider the diaconate ministry. It was easy to sidestep that request, as my family was still young then. Besides, Kathy was about to embark on her own journey of faith. Our youngest was preparing to receive First Communion, and she believed it was time to join us at the table. She entered the RCIA program in the fall of 2003. Many of our friends didn't realize she wasn't Catholic because they saw her at church every Sunday. She received her sacraments at Easter Vigil of 2004. These were wonderful times as our family grew together in faith, able to receive the Eucharist together. God has been abundantly generous. What we do with His blessings is what stewardship is. We joined the hospitality ministry as a family, something we could all do together. I soon became a lector and an extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. It is such a privilege to take part in the presence of Christ in both Word and Eucharist. My most recent foray is in the music ministry. It is one thing to sing in a shower or in the privacy of your car, but in front of a congregation, it is a different matter. First, as a member of the choir, then as a cantor. Christmas and Easter is always a trying but fulfilling time as music adds so much to our experience of the Mass. When we let the light of God shine upon us, we reflect the light to others and we see God's providence. You don't have to find God in a church. He is present in the cold glacier, in the loss of a loved one, in the beauty of nature undefiled. He is present even when we get in the way. We see Him in the love of a family. United for a cause, He is there, passing on the faith to our children and their children. Our family has grown in faith and trust in the love of God. God, mold us into the servants You want us to be.
Night and days,